I'm like a Victorian doll.
As if they like a holic character.
Yes, actually, very much so. So, welcome to the home for anime. Welcome you, Robert, to the home for anime as well.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Of course, I'm glad to have you. So, welcome to the home for anime, to the Falling Starcatcher YouTube channel. I am Cameron, the founder, host, what have you. And Robert has agreed to join me to talk about what immediately became one of my favorite anime of all time, Holic, or xxxHOLiC. And
Gotta get that name in.
over the course of one night and two episodes, we're going to be talking about season 1 and season 2 because there's such a marked difference between the two of them. Robert, just initial thoughts. I do have to say, you and I, we're not better than anybody else. There are a lot of people who work really hard to make animation happen. And because of that, we treat each production with the utmost care and respect, unless they are just abhorrent crimes against humanity. And we will do all of that and still be truthful and honest about how we feel about these things. Can you agree to that?
I agree, 100%. People work hard on these things, and I'm just viewing from my lens as one person, and I can respect people worked on everything.
Yes. So, with all that being said, Holic is one of the greatest anime I think I've ever seen in my entire life. So, just to talk about season 1, because season 1 is very episodic as opposed to season two's serialization, which is why we're doing this separately. Season 1 sets the groundwork for our four main characters, or I would say three main characters and one side character. And we get to see all these little misadventures that they go on, and it's great. We start with a long boy of 17 years named Watanuki Kimihiro. Watanuki can see spirits, and they plague him daily. One day, he ends up in front of this supernatural shop where all the spirits seem to leave him, and he goes inside, and who does he find but the baddest baddie in anime? I love my wife Botan, but the baddest baddie in anime, Yuko. Robert, I love that woman.
And
That is
rightfully so.
that is the word sexy personified, or I guess drawsonified. Like Watanuki, she too is long and very beautiful. I'm going to keep saying that. Actually, fun fact, I bought this Holic box set. It only has 3 of the 6 DVDs in it, but there's a side that just has Yuko's face on it. I'm looking at it right now, and she's like got flowers. She's literally doing this, and that's what I get to look at before I go to sleep, and that's on purpose.
You need to put her up on the ceiling so you have the teenage poster, the pinup on your ceiling when you go to bed every night.
I'm actually gonna have to look into that now that you said it. But Yuko is the owner of this shop that grants wishes. And she also gives us one of the coldest lines, not just in anime, not just in fiction, but in all of film and TV. When Watanuki asks how he got there, there is no such thing as coincidence.
So
There,
good.
see, so good. And so he says, "Can you make it so that I don't see these spirits?" And she says, "Yeah, but it's going to come at a cost. And the cost is you're going to work for me." And working for her means going on odd jobs with her and being an indentured servant. And so begins the life of Yuko and Watanuki, two little girls who don't have spirits and therefore cannot leave the shop, and Mokona, a
Oh,
thing. I don't know what Mokona is.
one of the most adorable things in all of existence, especially of all of Clamp existence.
And alongside Yuko, a functioning alcoholic. Alcoholic! That's it. That's the
When I
episode. That's the episode. I'm done. I'm done. Forget everything
when
else.
I read Clamp explain what Holic meant, and I blew my mind, I felt really dumb, really, really dumb to make it that far through the show and never connect it.
Oh, you talking about with the movie?
No, just Holic in general, like alcoholic
Yeah. Oh my
addiction.
God. Yeah. Because I'm a
It
holic
never
for
clicked in my
Yuko.
head.
Yeah. I'm a big holic for Yuko. They have this life together of boss and employee, but it seems like, and this is what I really like about season one, it seems like Yuko has some big plan for Watanuki, that
Yeah.
he kind of has an inkling that something is going on, but he is just like, I'm going with it so that I don't have to see spirits. But also, and this is one thing about season one that's kind of weird, he will he's very much like, okay, I don't want to see these, but at the same time it seems like he's having too much fun working with Yuko, and maybe that's because his parents died when he was younger, so this is the closest thing to a family that he has.
Yeah.
But I don't always get the sense that he felt burdened by what it was that he was seeing, probably because it allowed him to be with Yuko and go on these misadventures with her and the boyfriend that he hates the most, Domeki.
If Yuko is there for all the lady lovers, Domeki is there for all the male lovers, because boy, Domeki is easy on the eyes.
I will tell you, I did not know what direction Holic was going to go in. I knew it was supernatural, but when you have, characters that are so fit for Fashion Week, like they could just slay in anything, you're like, there's going to be some sort of romantic tension, some sort of sexual tension somewhere. And I'm thinking, okay, we have this lady who runs the shop and this kid who's 17. Maybe something's going to happen, kind of like a Ghost Sweeper Mikami. But then we see how much Watanuki hates Domeki, and Yuko straight up says, "You two are a perfect match for each other." And she will not go further into what she means when she says that, even though we know that on a base level, Watanuki is a spiritual magnet, and Domeki has the power to keep them away, though he doesn't fully kind of get that, but he's a shrine temple kid.
I think one thing you've mentioned twice now, what I think makes the first season so good, is they do a great job, in my opinion, of hinting at what's to come. And yet I never feel teased or that they're droning on and on about a big bad. It feels very clear that something more is going on. There's something up with Domeki and Watanuki and being connected. There's something up with Himawari. There's a reason Yoko runs the shop. There's some he's growing and changing, but like I never felt like, oh, get over it. Oh, explain it. It just,
Mm-hmm.
they drop these things, they move on, and it feels good and fun. And you still feel like the story is advancing, even at first season doesn't really go much of anywhere. But you finish it feeling, at least I finish it feeling positive, enjoying it, having a good time. I feel like the characters grow and change a little bit, even though there's not this huge revelation throughout the series, or the first season, I should say.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. And I'm glad that you brought up Himawari because that is Watanuki's crush. That is, well, we'll get into that next episode. But when I say three main characters and one side character, she very much does feel like a side character. Like, I think Domeki almost borders side character, but he kind of has that main character energy because he's so tied to Watanuki.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. I did an episode on Kyoto Animation's adaptation of Nichijou a while ago, and in it, I was talking about how I was very annoyed over the course of the 26, I believe, episodes that there were. And without realizing it, I spent one in universe year with those characters.
Uh-huh.
And it's a very full circle moment that the last episode of Holic, after we have multiple one episode adventures, that it actually ends on his 17th birthday. And we see this shift of him as a child, which is what the final episode of season 1 is about, and how his friend is basically another spirit, to now he has these connections with real people, which is what season 2 builds on in developing him as a character. Because what season 1 does for us is it makes a case for, we are going to you're going to spend time with these people, and that's really it. You're just going to spend time with them. You're going to get used to them. You are either going to love them or you're going to hate them.
Or a little of both, with Domiki screaming or Watanuki screaming all the time.
That annoyed the out of me. It really did. But that's what I really like, is that in its episodic nature, it's never too serious. It is always just something that you can kind of turn on one episode, then you go to the next episode, you're not really missing anything, and you can do it
Yeah.
probably weeks later. And you're like, okay, this has nothing to do with the next episode or the last episode, except for episodes. Is it? Is this 24 episodes or? It is. It
It's
is.
yeah.
So episodes 22 and 23 are the only ones that are interconnected, that build on each other.
The Sisters, a two-parter as well.
Oh, is it? Yeah, 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 yeah. You're right.
I mean, like, two of 24 episodes still is, insignificant in some ways. Of
Mm-hmm. I think when I'm thinking about this, because that is the only serious episode, or the only serious story we get, like super serious. Because some of them,
Yeah.
like, because this is so episodic in nature, it's splendid to pick apart little episodes without that one about the ghost bomb that Watanuki encounters towards the end of the series.
Oh yeah.
But what's so funny is that you were texting me while you were watching these first two seasons, and you just straight up told me, if a bitch with a bat came up in my house, I would. What was it that you said?
I have no idea. When she comes in and smashes that computer, right? And
Yeah.
Yuko cracks my shit up so much. Like, she says, "You want to break this curse? You want to get rid of this?" And then she brings a bat and just beats the shit out of your computer.
It's like, oh, you're addicted to the internet. Like, what is so crazy? What is it? Zankutetsen. You know that summon from the Final Fantasy games?
No.
It's like this guy who can like slice an enemy in one go, and the battle's pretty much over.
Yeah.
She does that with that woman's computer. And I think that's what she writes on there. I have to double check, but it was so funny. And that's the thing. They'll have these very haunting moments, like that mom is very scared. She's very upset about her internet addiction. And then you have Yuko just come in with a bat, like breaking and entering. Yo, I'm here to solve your problems. Let me at them. And you're not going to use the internet anymore, right? Right. All right. Let me. And instead of it being like it's a right in half.
So good. And I like Yuko. There's clearly spirits in the world. There's clearly magic in this world.
Mm-hmm.
But there are some times where it's almost at a question of, does she have any powers? Is there any spiritual powers? Like, a lot of her shenanigans, for lack of a better term, is just, okay, wear this ring. And it's like, well, you didn't listen to what I said and you fucked up. So, oh, well, but it's, and I think it's so much to the story of human nature and there are these mystical things. There's no such thing as coincidence, but ultimately it's humans' decisions and humans' power and humans' abilities and our choices that we make that impact all this, you know?
And I really do like the episodes that focus on that, like the one where the girl is lying and her pinky is just flaring up, and then another one where a girl cannot stop lying, but for a different reason, and her pinky is flaring up. And I don't know, man. There's just something about. You're absolutely right. There is a. It's like there's a spiritual component to just living, or I guess it's to say that humanity and spirituality have no choice but to intersect, which all goes back to that there's no such thing as coincidence.
Yeah.
So learning about these different yokai that we learned throughout, which I don't know are which ones are real in Japanese folklore and which ones aren't. I know that there are some anime who really do focus in on certain monogatari and things like that, and
Yeah.
they don't really do that here. They just do things like, hey, here's a pipe fox, or here's a traveling Odin truck. Here's so I think the only ones that we got, and I can't remember their names, but the rain spirit
Yeah.
and
Amewashi.
whatever the sad girl was, who was also just adorable.
Yeah. The house spirit and the rain spirit, the two of them.
Yes, thank you. So what I love Holic so much because it seems so random, but it's so well put together. And you're absolutely correct. It speaks about human nature, but also it I can't shake, and this is as a Southern Christian, I can't help but think that there is more to everything than what we see on this human plane, like the cosmos and spirits that are walking around. You know, 'cause I believe in ghosts and witches too. I'm like, yo, this shit is everywhere.
There's more
So
than meets the eye.
there's more than meets the eye. There are so many players at work in our everyday lives. So I never know what some you know when you're having a really bad day
Yeah.
and you're like, something is with me right now. It just makes me think of Holic because I'm just thinking there's no such thing as coincidence. I met somebody, or I did something, or maybe I crossed somebody, maybe I stepped on something that I shouldn't have. It all comes together.
It's it's the possibilities in the world, and I think they're endless. And we could talk about what we think is real and not real, but like I am generally just open to anything. I think
Mm-hmm.
who am I to say this doesn't exist, or you know, and when it's put in the context of Holic and you have all these spirits and things and grudges and you know all these different things that happen, and it just one of my favorites is the girl putting out the negative thoughts about herself,
Mm-hmm.
because that's something I think we all do, or at least I do. You know, I'm good enough, I'm not better looking than anybody, you know. And it is it a spirit, or is it just the reality of like if you think negatively about yourself that you in return get these things? But it's such a fun context to look at it. And I think in a fantasy setting like Holics allows you to explore that thought a little bit more without feeling like, oh, I'm getting deep and introverted. You're like, oh, it's a spirit. Oh, it's fun. And you're like, oh, really? I'm just thinking about I shouldn't go around talking shit about myself all the time.
Right. It's that concept of you speak things into being. And does that really have anything to do with spirituality, or is that just you manifesting something onto yourself? And I like that. I like that too in the concept of, you know, that episode where I was talking about the girl who her pinky was messed up because she wouldn't stop lying. But this one was the one where she was going on dates with multiple people and changing her, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And she just, it's you. you mess around, you find out. You keep lying, and all your lies are going to catch up to you. Now, the way that that episode ended was very absurd for all of them to just show up at the theme park at once. But it's just, it's kind of like there are morals at the end of each episode, or at least most episodes. Face your addiction, or, don't start bad habits, don't lean into bad habits, don't lie, don't cheat, don't steal, etc. And then some of them are just little fun episodes, like when they went to the beach, which
Yeah.
that beach episode, that was, oh, Yuko.
Her outfits,
Yuko.
10 out of 10. And she truly changes, I think, twice an episode sometimes, and
Yes.
it's always amazing. And they give her such sex appeal without just a jiggle counter. I was watching something the other day and they just had like the sheen on the tits glowing, and I was like, come on. Whereas Yuko, man, she's good.
Yes. I don't think you understand. I have not been this down bad for an anime character since I don't fucking know, dog. I don't know. I love Botan, don't get me wrong, but this is different. This is just different.
She's definitely the longest woman
She is the
that you're
longest
obsessed with.
she is the longest woman I've ever loved.
It's I could go on and on. I love Clamp and everything they do, and I will apologize for even their bad stuff. But the style choices they make, and I think the anime carries that so well, where they could have gone cheaper and put her in the same outfit or made her proportions more realistic. But the way they continue to draw her and everyone else too, when she just, I just gonna be terrible. When she has like her arms stretched out and her hands stretched out, and it's just this huge long line that still fits in the world and still makes them attractive characters by being and still being so exaggerated is just 10 out of 10.
I feel like she is a perfect conduit for expressing fashion tastes, because like you said, she does change a lot. Like her wardrobe changes. I would say that she is the most versatile character when it comes to her wardrobe.
Yeah.
Probably because we don't spend time with anyone else who would change their clothes. I mean, Domeki is either in the shrine outfit or in his school uniform. Watanuki is either in a school uniform or a button down, and Himawari is always in her school uniform. But Yuko, the enigma that she is, and this is actually funny, this just came into mind. The enigma that Yuko is, she escapes the realm of static fashion in anime. And also, you're absolutely correct. The proportions that they have, the longness is a very, yeah, all jokes aside, it's a very unique choice. I haven't consumed as much Clamp content as you have, but this I've noticed, I've seen the character designs that they did for Blood Sea, what they did obviously for Code Geass, and there's just something about Clamp and their work with Holic that is just intrinsically beautiful,
Yeah.
unconventionally beautiful, because there's no way that this Tim Burton looking, I mean, that's kind of what it feels like, with these long gothic people. It shouldn't be as hip and beautiful as it is, but somehow Clamp makes it cool.
Hip is such a good term for it too. Like, and it's not dogging on Lolita, but it never gets macabre or dreary in a sense. Retains its gothicness, its darkness, its mysteriousness without ever coming campy or weird or sad. And again, no like personal attack on any style, but it just it stays hip and stays colorful and powerful with still being dark. Like the amount of times she's shown with purples and reds and oranges, and I never really thought about it until you just said it too, how she stands out so much from the others by making these chases. It's just beautiful, and it really is uh, hip. It's a great way to portray this character.
Right, this character who is all knowing, basically. Because what I love so much about her in what she's doing, which is essentially just spirit training Watanuki, like she's very much the Genkai to Watanuki's Yusuke.
Yeah.
In doing all this spiritual training, she has all the answers already. She knows how to solve each problem, but she wants him to know how to do it.
And she knows his value as well. And I think that's something that comes off subtly is that he is going to make the choice to sacrifice himself or go or put others first. Like he is going to do that. And there's a strength that he has in that.
Mm-hmm.
And he has to learn. And that's, I'm sure we'll dive into more later.
Mm-hmm.
But he learns his lessons through it. But she lets him do it, does it. And it's, I think, a celebration of his strength. It's not a weakness that he's going to care about these characters or care about them or follow them out of the shop and try to help them, try to warn them or whatever he does. But you see that change even within the first season. You see him becoming more aware of where his limits are and that other people need to make their decisions.
Mm-hmm. Though I will say that is a lesson that he does learn, but he doesn't learn it fully until season 2.
Yeah.
So, like you said, we will get to that. But that is one of the subtle hints of growth that we do get throughout the series. We see him mature in a few different ways. Like I said, he really hates Domeki, even though there's never been a more gay ship. That's not even a ship. They may as well just be married.
When they didn't end up together, truly mind blown for me. I will see I will put any two guys together in a show if I can. But this one, I was like, this is what they're telling me. This, there's no other option for this. And then I guess there was another option.
I think the thing that messes me up is I I saw, I think it was xxxHOLiC Row, which is after xxHOLiC K, and it shows everyone kind of moving on after the events of the show. Everyone's grown up, and I'm not gonna say anything about it other than the fact that I was like, Domeki actually ended up with a woman. But even when he starts to open up, no pun intended, to Domeki, you know, with the whole I'm going to make lunch for you willingly, not because I owe you anything.
Yeah.
That is a show of, wow, I may sometimes be jealous of you and the attention that Himawari gives you because I am in love with Himawari, and you still annoy me, but I don't think you're a bad guy. And I
Yeah.
appreciate everything that you do for me, even though I won't say outwardly that we are friends because I'm not mature enough to say that. We are friends.
It's, I appreciate it. I appreciate where it goes. And I will say, in row, I did have a better appreciation because this was my second watch through. And I think knowing where we were going, as always, I don't know how you feel this rewatching shows. Going back and watching it in the first season, there was a lot more subtle things that I noticed or I was paying attention to because you know where the plot's going.
Right.
And it didn't take away from it. I still enjoyed it just as much, but it was fun kind of knowing where these characters end up and seeing kind of how we got there and paying more attention to the little details and having fun along the way.
Yeah, I like that. It's just very much a dark slice of life anime at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And I just love how subtly it is weaving together a story that basically gives us this emotional payoff that we didn't realize that we wanted or needed. So that's what I really love about season 1. I love that it grows into season 2, but season 1 very much is just we're just hanging out down the street, same old thing we did last week. Not a thing to do but talk to you. We're all right. Hello, Wisconsin.
I am very happy we got a second season and there's the manga and everything. But if first season would have been it, I think I still would have been satisfied by it.
Mm-hmm.
And when I think of the first season, before we move on, I have to say I do always just kind of think of the Spirit Parade. There's something about that like episode and that imagery that just is so like ingrained in my head of Holic of them with I remember the nectar or whatever they're holding. Like
Mm-hmm.
those images just stick in my head of like quintessential Holic.
So yeah, with all of that, because you're right, that was a very beautiful episode. I do think that overall it's just a very beautiful show. I think knowing that there was a season 2 before watching season 1, I would have been disappointed if there wasn't a season 2. Knowing that there's a season 2, thinking, "Oh wow, this is it," and there could have been more, or like this is where they stopped adapting. I would have
Yeah.
said, "This is great. Don't get me wrong, but I want more." So I'm happy that we got more, but for what this is, I would say that if you're looking for a just dark, mysterious, yet somehow whimsical and comical show, Holic is your perfect 24 episode anime that you can get a lot of things from. You can laugh, you can cry, you can really get hit emotionally in certain places, especially I would say the last 3 episodes. And it's
Yeah.
also just got some really cute, wholesome moments and also some kind of creepy ones. Nowhere near as creepy as the Midsummer Night, but some creepy things like how, what are they, Moru and Maru don't have souls. That just freaked me out.
Yeah.
They're like, we
The
can't
monkey paw.
leave. We can never leave the shop. That messed me up so bad. They're such nice kids.
I'm sure they have a story, and I've not spoiled it for myself by looking it up. I have and started investing in getting the rest of the manga to finish my Clamp collection, but also see what happens in the end.
Doug, I have been trying so hard. I don't want to buy the Japanese version because I can't read Japanese. But the English version, I have the first volume. I asked for it for my birthday last year, thinking, okay, I can get the rest on my own. Volumes 4 and 7, no, you just can't find them. And I don't know when they're going to be reprinted. So part of me is like, okay, they did a Japanese reprint and they actually made covers. So what we were talking about, fashion actually doubles over with these new reprint copies in Japanese because they deck Yuko and Watanuki out. They look incredible. But I'm just thinking, well, just use the trusty old Google Translate on each individual page. Fuck, I
Gotta do
look
what you gotta
like.
do.
And then the last thing I want to say before we call it here and go to the next episode, that will be in 2 weeks, or whenever this comes out. If you see this a year from now, it's the next video. Hateful 19-year-old self is such a bop.
The opening, it's so hard to pass up on. I listened to it 20 times out of the 24 that it was on. It's just
Mm-hmm.
even if I was watching back to back episodes, it's just such a good song. It's such an earworm. The visuals match the music perfectly. It is top tier.
It's wonderful. And then I didn't care so much for the first ending, but the second one with Bucktick, bro, and I tell you, You know, our friend 90s anime fashion really likes VK, and I've never been able to relate to her when she posts about Bucktick. And then this ending came on, and I said,
I get it.
Dr. Anime, I get it. So 90s anime fashion, if you're watching this, Bucktick owns. Because that is one of the coolest endings I've ever seen in my entire life. And it's just the two ghost children playing electric guitar, but like air electric guitar. But they are so cool because Bucktick is incredible. And I downloaded it on Spotify and I listened to it on the way to work. And it's in rotation with my Sonic the Hedgehog music. And I just
Yeah.
am, for no reason, I'm a traffic hazard when that song comes on because I do the same thing. I'm just like, and then he's just, I'm not looking at the road. I'm not looking at the road.
That's why they can't leave the shop. They're hypnotized by the song.
Honestly, I believe it. So that's just saying Yuko has great taste in music too.
All
Bucktick,
around a fashionista.
Bucktick officially steals souls. That's what I got from this. Well, Robert, I will see you for part two where we talk about season two of Holic. And to the rest of you, take care.